All right, it is Wednesday again. This is the Wednesday weekly learning session for local bartending school. My name is Carlos Navia. I do this every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time at 6 p.m. East Coast time. I've been a bartender for 20 plus years now in a handful of different states and 2 different countries. I now live in San Luis Obispo, California, which is where I am here in my backyard tiki bar with my lovely wife. I do this every Wednesday. I do one-on-ones, and you might recognize me from some of the online videos as well. So I always like to talk about a little bit of a topic and, things every week, talk about a little something different. And well, we have an obvious, easy topic today because tomorrow is Thanksgiving, where we all give thanks. And we celebrate the first pilgrims coming over on the Mayflower and befriending the Wampanoag Indians who helped them survive the winter. For being honest, they wouldn't have made it without the Indians, bless their hearts. And they didn't get a good deal when it was all said and done, unfortunately. So Mayflower landed in Massachusetts. They did have alcohol on board the Mayflower. They did have Bordeaux wine. They had cognac that they brought from France. They had beer as well. Their original landing point was Virginia, which is where they intended to go, but they actually pulled over early and stopped at Massachusetts because they ran out of beer. And that's why they pulled the boat over. And, we're out of beer, pull the boat over, we're stopping here, we're going to find out what's here now. So they ended up landing in Massachusetts. They landed at Plymouth Rock. And, they really didn't have a lot of supplies. They really didn't, know what they were doing. The Indians taught them how to hunt, taught them how to fish, taught them how to plant crops and stuff like that. And they had the first kind of harvest Thanksgiving to celebrate everything there in Plymouth. No real record of the first Thanksgiving of if there was anything alcoholic or not that they consumed. But if there was, we're probably going to figure that it was some type of apple cider, as there were plenty of apple trees where they landed and apples were plentiful. That would have been the obvious choice for them to make some kind of hard apple cider and, get a lot of apple cider drinks. And we're going to make a little apple cider drink here in a minute. As well, this time of year, I live where there's lots of apples. We get a lot of that stuff. So that seems kind of like the logical choice. But, we do know that the Puritans like to drink, and they definitely enjoyed their spirits. Once they got settled and started making their own spirits here in the United States, they definitely enjoyed them. And, maybe even a little to excess. It was definitely a problem in Puritan times as it is in our times today. And that kind of leads into the season that we're going into here now, which is, this is kind of the tip off to rookie season. And what I mean by that is you get certain holidays, certain times of the year where people that don't regularly drink are going to go out and drink. And they don't know their limits, and they don't know how to behave, and they don't know how to handle themselves. Not everybody drinks every night. Not everybody goes out to a bar all the time. For some people, it's only on special occasions, like, of course, holidays. So, you're going to see a lot of people out that don't usually drink, may not be able to handle themselves. And it kind of, the pinnacle of it, coming up is New Year's Eve, which is a huge, huge rookie night. So, be careful, be smart. There's Lyft, there's Uber. There's no reason for anybody to be driving if you've been drinking. So, just play it smart and be careful. But at the same time, when you're out at work, when you're out in the bar, you really do have to pay attention to your customers and, make sure that no one's drinking excess, that, no one's disturbing other people, that no one's making a scene or becoming a liability is the biggest thing. We want to make sure that we protect ourselves. If someone's stumbling around, losing their balance, it's time for them to go. They're going to hurt themselves. They're going to hurt someone else in the bar. So we just want to make sure we're being careful. Everybody has a good holiday, makes it home safely, and can return next year. And what's funny is that we're still kind of seeing, I think, the results of the lockdown and COVID and people being bent up for such a long time when they go out. I refer to sporting events a lot. There is a recent happening, and I'll show a little picture, not too graphic, not too close, but at a basketball game here about a week ago, one of the people sitting courtside, and we'll go ahead and pop this picture up so that everybody can kind of see. You'll see there's a gentleman here sitting courtside, and you might be able to see on the floor there by his feet is where he has thrown up because he has had too much to drink courtside at a Sacramento Kings basketball game. And they had to stop the entire game so that people could come over and clean it up. I'm not sure why they didn't escort him out, because he's still sitting there as people come over and clean up his vomit off the floor. But I mean, realize that we're talking about, seats that cost thousands of dollars. People that put out thousands of dollars to go to this experience and enjoy it. And that's still how drunk they're getting. That they're throwing up on the floor and stopping a basketball game, even in that situation, even on television where everybody's going to see it, and you're going to be on YouTube, and you're going to be tweeted, and you're going to be talked about on Sports Dinner. Still, that's still the way people are behaving. So, just be aware of that and be careful. Make sure you're protecting yourself and stop share and protecting the other patrons in the bar. We just don't want anyone to get hurt. We want everybody to have a safe time, enjoy themselves. Once again, get home safely. Have a great holiday. I feel like I keep seeing every time I go to the grocery store, I go out, that I see more and more random things concerning alcohol. The RTDs, the ready to drink cocktails, are still a big booming thing. And I still see, I feel like a new one every time I go to the store. Things like White Claw and the hard seltzers, I feel like have kind of plateaued out. 3 or 4 years ago, I think that was really on the rise. It was a big thing, but within the last year, I think that's kind of mellowed down and calmed down. So plus, I think the market's oversaturated on that. There's just so many of them at this point that there's too many of them. It's too much. That's kind of leveled out, but the ready to drink cocktails are becoming the big thing too. And, we talked a little bit about, so I won't go into too much into it, batching cocktails at the bar and sending people home with a large back cocktail, or putting them into a keg where you can just serve it from a tap or some sort of gun or something like that. But I was in the store and I saw these, and I thought that they had some great possibilities. So even Haagen Dazs ice cream now has a line of spirits infused ice cream. And I know what the first question is going to be. So I already checked. They're less than half of 1% alcohol. And the ice cream, it does not really have alcohol in it. It's just ice cream. Less than 0.5%. But they've got this one, Irish cream. They've got a bunch of different flavors, some bourbon maple, I think some other ones like that. But this kind of opens the door to making some different kind of cocktails using these spirits ice creams, that are coming out. I know there's a couple other companies that are doing it besides Haagen Dazs, but I just happened to find their picture because that was the first one that I saw. But you can find them out there. Opens up some definite cool possibilities. We are going into fall. We are going into the cooler season, not really necessarily an ice creamy or milkshakey time of year as opposed to the summertime, but something to think about, something you can have some fun with and play with. You can find you some Haagen Dazs, spirit ice cream, probably at your local grocery store if you go to look for those. And then, the ice cream I get, the icicles for summer I get, ready to drink cocktails, the seltzers, all that stuff I completely understand. Until this week, I came across something that just blows my mind, and I don't know how to comprehend it. I don't know how to really approach it. It's kind of blowing me away. So, gonna need some water for this. Arby's has started making vodka. And yes, that Arby's of roast beef sandwich fame now makes Arby's vodka. And they make it in 2 flavors. The 2 flavors, and I'll show you the picture. The 2 flavors are crinkle cut French fry and curly fry flavored vodka. So I really don't know. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what the idea was behind it. I don't know who sat down, had a meeting, and decided that this was something that needed to be made. But if you go to their website, they are sold out of it. So apparently, people are buying it. They're doing okay on it. But I think the idea and the recipe that they have on their website and what they kind of show here in their picture is to use it for a Bloody Mary. And they give a couple, they give a Bloody Mary recipe for both of them, on their website if you wanted to check that out. And if you could see, put everything we can in a Bloody Mary, lemons, limes, olives, pickles, green beans, celery. I've seen lettuce, bacon, and tomato, crawfish, shrimp, okra, whatever you want to put in there. That's how they've garnished theirs there. with some French fries, some fried food, looks like some sandwiches, maybe a chicken sandwich and a roast beef sandwich in there. So I just thought it was interesting. I just thought it was cool. Arby's makes French fry flavored vodka. If you guys wanted to go check that out, you're welcome to go to their website and take a look at it. I just found it very funny, and even more interesting that they're actually sold out of it at this point. You can't even order it from them for $50 a bottle. So I'd like to go into just talking about some cocktails. We won't take too long today. I know it is day before Thanksgiving. Everybody has a lot of stuff to do. I have to drive down to Los Angeles myself, but I wanted to go over some cocktails. I always like to talk about some different cocktails, give you some ideas, and do some demonstrations here. So I was looking at some stuff laying around my house, and I live in farm area, so a bunch of people have brought us a bunch of fresh fruits and vegetables and different things like that. And what we had that I really loved when I was a kid was we had some fresh pomegranates. So I've taken out some pomegranate seeds here. And I remember the last place I used to work at in Florida before I moved back here to California, they made a pomegranate martini. It was a little variation. I know that they actually, I believe, stole from Bonefish Grill. If you ever go to Bonefish Grill, actually really, really good. Part of their whole, I know it's a chain, but part of their whole kind of shtick is that wherever they are, they try to find local fish in that area and run local specials. So though you have the regular menu, you go into Bonefish, you always have local specials of something that's fresh caught in the area. So pomegranate martini. So let's make a little pomegranate martini and talk about this a little bit here. See if I've got all my stuff here ready to go. So I've got my glass here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some ice in here and get my glass cold just to start things off. Put a little water in there and we'll set it in the side there and we'll let that go ahead and get chilled. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my mixing tin here and my spoon. I'm going to take some of these fresh pomegranate seeds. I'm just going to put about 3 bar spoons of them in there. That should give me just about the right amount of juice, just like that, to make my pomegranate martini. Now, the thing about pomegranate juice is it is very bitter. It does, kind of not bitter. It is very tart. It has a very tart taste to it. So we do want to kind of cut that tartness down a little bit here. So one of my latest finds at Dollar Tree, I knew it would find its area somewhere. What I have here is just a little bit of mango puree that I've made here, and I'm just going to put a little dip of that in there. Mangoes are really strong. Mangoes are really sweet. All that's going to do is give it some sweetness and kind of cut the tartness of our cranberries that are down in there. I'm going to go ahead and grab my muddle here. I'm going to give these a nice mash. Get all that juice out of these cranberries, or out of these pomegranate seeds, I should say. We got it nice like that. So, okay. So, and do be careful if y'all are working with fresh pomegranate juice. It will stain. It does stain. It stains everything. In the bar, the way I usually make it is with pomegranate liqueur, which you can find in a lot of bars. Or if you just have some regular pomegranate juice, you can do that as well. I just happen to have these fresh ones laying around, so I figured might as well use them here to make a cocktail. I'm going to go ahead and throw my ice here into my mixing tin. Yes. Now, once again, I'm just using water. I'm not using any real liquor here because I don't want to waste it. And if I were doing this in a regular bar, I would go ahead and use some citrus vodka. But once again, I just have water here. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1.5 ounces here of my citrus vodka. Pour it in there like that. I've got my mango puree. I've got my I've got my pomegranate juice in there. I'm going to grab my sweet and sour mix. I'm just going to put a little splash of sweet and sour mix in there too, just to kind of cut it a little bit. You just dilute it just a little bit more. And then we're ready to go. We're going to take it here. We'll pop it in. We'll just give it a good shake. Get that nice and mixed up in there. All right. And a nice good color there. Nice good pomegranate color. So I'm going to grab my cup here, a glass I should say. Get some of the water out of it there. I'm going to wait for the train to pass. Take just a little bit of sugar, put it on my plate here. Just like this. Some of that water out here. Get my chilled glass. Use this grapefruit to give it a nice rim. Just like that. Got a nice sugar rim there on my martini glass. Give this a nice shake so it's nice and mixed up in there. Like that. And since I've got those pomegranate seeds in there, I'm going to go ahead and give it a double strain here. And just make sure I get all of that stuff out there. Keep it in there nice and good. Nice blood red color to it. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to grab my spoon, wherever I did with it. And I'm going to throw some of these in the bottom, just like that. We have there our pomegranate martini. Get my napkin here, ready to go. There you are, with fresh pomegranate juice. I'm going to set this one off to the side. Oops, my microphone fell down. I'm going to fix it. So hopefully you can hear me. Just going to take this one off to the side here for a second, because I'm going to use this same glass again. Because I'm down to one martini glass, unfortunately. So let me rinse off my equipment here, because I want to get this red pomegranate off of everything and start with some fresh equipment. All right, there we go, ready to go. So let's try another one of these here. Now this one I'm really interested to see just kind of how it looks and how it turns out. When I looked it up, they called it an apple pie cocktail. So I like the sound of it, kind of liked what it had into it. We're going to give it a go here and see how it turns out. So grab my highball glass or my Collins glass right there. We're going to go ahead and mix this one in a pint glass. So I'm not going to shake this one up. I'm just going to give it a stir. And we're going to throw some ice into my pint glass here, get my drink started. That should be enough here. Yep. Once again, I've just got water, but I'd be using vodka again. This time I'd be using vanilla vodka. I'd go ahead and throw an ounce of vanilla vodka in just like that. Now, the other thing we'd be using is cinnamon whiskey, something like Fireball or, Jack Daniels makes a cinnamon, Jim Beam makes a cinnamon. This is going to give me about the same color here of what my Fireball or my cinnamon whiskey should look like. Now I'm going to grab my my half and half here, my cream. And we're going to do just about a half ounce of cream in there, make this nice and creamy, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some apple cider in here. I'm going to do about 2 ounces of this apple cider in there, just like that. Perfect. I'm going to grab my spoon here, give it a nice mix, get that nice and mixed up, get it chilled out there, get everything kind of mixed in there together. Like that. I'm going to come back with my glass I'm going to use here. I have my sugar I just used. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some ground cinnamon and I'm going to sprinkle it into that sugar. Take a straw here and mix this up a little. Try not to make too much of a mess here on my table. And now I have some cinnamon sugar I can use for the rim of this cocktail. Just like that. All right. So I have my cinnamon sugar rim. I'm gonna grab some more ice over here. Ice in there like that. Go ahead and strain my cocktail over my fresh ice. Just like that. And then I'm going to top it off with a little bit of sparkling apple cider So it's got a little bubbles, got a little bit of sparkle to it. Straw in there like that. And then we're going to grab a little bit of caramel syrup. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of that over the top. It's going to come out. Just a little bit of caramel syrup over the top of it. Nice little design like that. And we have our apple pie cocktail. Looks excellent. Can't wait to try it for real tomorrow and give it a real live go instead of just a fake kind of go here. But delicious, awesome. You could put some real apples in there if you wanted to do that as well. Mash them up with everything. Garnish them with an apple. Really nice, good one right there. Apple pie cocktail. So I'll rinse the rest of my equipment real quick. Everything out of there. Get rid of this guy. So let's try another one here. Okay. So this one kind of half made up and kind of half stole. I took a couple different ideas and put them together to make what is a caramel apple martini. It's kind of meant to taste like a caramel apple that you might have gotten if you're as old as me at Halloween or if you've ever seen before. So I'm going to reuse my martini glass here that I've washed and theoretically sanitized. I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with water once again. And and in the bar, you're just using water from the gun. I just don't have a gun out here. In my tiki bar, I'm going to set that to the side. We're going to let that go ahead and chill while we make our martini. So I'm going to grab my mixing tin. I'm going to grab some ice in here like this. Now, when I originally did this, I was working at a place that was already using Smirnoff green apple vodka for their appletinis. And it works really great. So if you have some Smirnoff green apple vodka, I don't know if there is another company that makes it or not, but I know that Smirnoff makes it. So green apple cup vodka makes a great appletini. So we're going to go ahead and do an ounce here of what would be our green apple vodka. Then, of course, make an appletini, we're going to need some sour apple schnapps. Once again, Puckers is a brand name. Made by De Kuipers. Other companies make it like bowls, just sour apple schnapps. Got some green stuff here. This will be our sour apple schnapps. Now, the other thing I put in there just to give it that little kind of caramelly taste is some butter shots. And butter shots, once again, is butterscotch schnapps. We just call it butter shots, or De Kuiper calls it butter shots, because it's very, very hard to say butterscotch schnapps. It is sort of a tongue twister. So I have something that looks kind of about like butter shots here. I'm going to do 1 2 ounce of that in there. So about an ounce of my vodka. I've got an ounce of my green apple, just a little bit of that butterscotch in there to give it some flavor. And, I do have some actual caramel here. Might as well put just a little touch of my actual caramel in there as well. Give it a little caramel taste. Go ahead and grab my pint glass, mix it in there. I'm going to give this a nice shake like this. Put nice and big stuff in there. Everything together. I am forgetting something. I'm going to give it a little splash of sweet and sour as well. Just kind of cut it a little in there as well. Put that back in. And nice and mixed up. All right. Rock it like this. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to take my glass over here. Try to get some of the liquid out of it here. And I've already got my cinnamon sugar here. So we're going to give it a nice cinnamon sugar rim. Just like that. There we go. So I've got my cinnamon sugar rim there. Go ahead and pour this guy out into there. Nice green apple color. A little drip. Nice little shake. A little more is going to drip out. Always, every time. Nice touch. And then to garnish it, let's go ahead and grab a pick here. And we're going to make a little flag here with a green apple. So I'm going to take my pick, put it through like that. I'm going to stick it here into my piece of green apple, just like that. We're going to set it on the side just like that. And we have our caramel apple martini. Perfect dessert for Thanksgiving or any day of the week. Bam, right there like that. We'll go ahead and set you off to the side too. And we'll do one more at least here. So that's an excellent one. It's gone over very well with people like a lot. I know a lot of places don't have the caramel sauce necessarily to go in there, but if you do, it's a nice touch. You can also drizzle some in the glass, make it look cool, give it some cool effects if you want to do that as well. What else can I have here? Okay, I saw this one. Let's give this one a go. I'm gonna give my stuff a little rinse here. Water. And get myself reset here. All right. So have one here that I found called a brown derby. So it sounded really good. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a bucket glass like that. We're gonna grab our mixing tin here like that. Once again, grab some ice in there. About 3/4 of the way up. About 2/3 of the way up, I should say. We're gonna make this one with bourbon. I'm gonna grab my faux Jack Daniels here. Please don't ever call Jack Daniels bourbon. It is not bourbon. It's made in Tennessee. It says Tennessee whiskey right on the bottle. People from Tennessee get very, very touchy about it. I used to live there. I used to go to college there. It's not bourbon. It's Tennessee whiskey. But since it's what I have out here that looks like whiskey and it looks like bourbon, we're going to go ahead and use it. So I'm going to do 2 ounces here of my faux Jack Daniels. Bam, in there just like that. Now, the other thing we're going to need is some simple syrup. I've got some simple syrup here. Let's go ahead and do about 1/2 ounce of that in there just like that. Perfect. Now, like I said, live in farmland, have a lot of people bringing us fruits and vegetables and stuff. So I just happen to have some grapefruits. So I'm going to squeeze some fresh grapefruit juice here for this cocktail. Just like that. In my little squeezer. And that's probably going to be enough here for me to use. Perfect. All right. So I've got everything in there. Go ahead once again, pop it in there, give it a nice good shake. Or do the underhand. Get nice and mixed up. Pop that off there. Go ahead and grab my fresh ice over here. Grab my strainer. And we'll strain it over some fresh ice there like that. Nice. And to finish it off, grab a nice grapefruit twist like this. So again, we're going to take the outside of the peel, go all the way around like that. Nice little squeeze over the top to get the oils into there. Stick it down into the drink like that. Grab my straws, my napkin, bam. And we have our brown derby. Nice, good. For people that like bourbon, a little something different, a little fresh grapefruit juice in there. Excellent, excellent drink. Really, really good one there as well. We'll set you off to the side over here, Mr. Brown Derby. And let's see how much time we got. We got time to do one more. Let's try one more. So I'm gonna give my stuff a little quick rinse here. All right. So I saw this one, and it's kind of a take on a Negroni. They called it Evening in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, I'm married to a Caribbean wife. I've never been to Jamaica. I have been to Belize. It is beautiful. The people are amazing. Can't wait to go to Jamaica one of these times as well and go see that. Working my way through the list. This summer was Hawaii. So got to do that. So basically, it's kind of like a Negroni, but we're going to make it with rum instead of gin. So I'm going to grab another bucket glass here, just like this guy. I'm going to go ahead and grab my handy dandy mixing tin. Ice. So I'm getting my ice. too much ice. Perfect. Okay, so what do we need? Of course, rum. So, Kingston, being in Jamaica, you use some aged Jamaican rum, something like Appleton's would probably go very well in a drink like this. Once again, I just have faux Bacardi Gold here. We're going to go ahead and do an ounce of that. Then this, I believe, is made to look like sweet vermouth. We would go ahead and do an ounce of sweet vermouth. And once again, that's just fortified wine, just some sweet red wine with extra alcohol in it. And what do I have? It looks like Campari. There we go. And Campari, has a taste of bitter fruit. It's made from bitter fruit peels. So it's got kind of a bitter taste to it. So we're kind of getting the sweet there. We're balancing it, but we're getting a little more sweetness as well from the rum. We're going to go ahead and do an ounce here of our Campari, just like that. All right, we're going to lock in our glass here. Give it a nice shake. And nice and mixed up in there. All right, bring that back over. Got my glass here. Get some fresh ice here. There we go. Strain it in. Just like that. A couple more ice cubes in there. And then we would come back and we would top it off with some sparkling wine like champagne or Prosecco. Out here, it's California sparkling wine. This is just, Martinelli's sparkling apple cider because I really don't want to waste alcohol. But bam, we top it off with some nice sparkling wine like that. See if I've got an orange twist. Grab a nice orange twist here to garnish it. All the way around, give it a nice spritz in there. Release those oils. Couple straws, our bar napkin, and we have our evening in Kingston. So these are our holiday cocktails, stuff that I thought would work great for Thanksgiving. Just remember, a lot of crazy people are going to be out there. A lot of people are going to be on the highways. I have to get on the highway here and head to Los Angeles myself, which is why we're making fake cocktails and not real cocktails. That comes tomorrow. But have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great time. Just remember to be safe and be alert. There's going to be a lot of people out there drinking, a lot of people not acting responsibly. Make sure that you're acting responsibly and get home safely. And we will see you next Wednesday. Thank you very much. Have a great holiday.